was a brief magical period where craft beer was just any weird beer. Even some of the big European breweries, like the Trappist brews, were considered craft beer for a while there because there just wasn't any other way of saying it's a cherry stout.
It has to be made in a house that's still technically a microbrew or lower. It's made with love and care, and it's like an actual brewmaster and is putting into something that he sourced out and want to do it.
Craft beer, in my eyes, would be something that is outside of the norm, potentially moves away from lager, a little more flavorful. But that applies to Guinness. So you go, okay, so then it's not something big. But then you go, Brewdog are almost as big as Guinness as a company. They're huge. They're a global company now, and they are craft. It's very difficult to define. But I think those three comments, it is probably smaller, produced in smaller quantities. It is generally more flavorful than non-craft beer, and it's a little bit different and a little bit odd and a bit more experimental.
I don't believe the term craft actually means anything anymore. If Brewdog could be a craft lager putting out millions of hectoliters a year, then craft isn't anything.
I think the market became a bit oversaturated with craft as an idea. Originally, craft was about size and quality, right? Like a real commitment to producing really exceptional beers that went against the kind of bland lagers that the vast majority were drinking. But then everyone was trying to open a craft brewery, particularly in London, all of Bermondsey and all of Tottenham, and craft beer coming out left, right and centre.
I think beer as a category has hit its peak just in terms of what's possible in the world of beer. Everything from sour beers to lactose adding to beers and so on and so forth. I think the category has been played to pretty much maximum.
A lot of that was just showed how much craft beer there was and what people were drinking, that all of a sudden all the hot farms in the country were maxed out.
The craft breweries that have done well and produced good, consistent, good quality beer have then probably been bought up by larger companies. Either that or they've now grown to the size you can't really call them craft.
I think if you've got a catchy design or something on your can that's going to attract somebody's eye, they'll pick it up and look at it and see what it is. You definitely need something. Your packaging needs to be appealing, or at least add some curiosity for somebody to pick it up and check it out.
I think people are starting to look at craft beer in the same way that other people look at cocktails. I feel like people are they don't care about the brand as much, they care about the liquid. In terms of what looks cool, what tastes fun. I would see people drink 8 different beers in a night, all from different brands, all totally different styles. I think people are much more open to different flavors as opposed to just a specific brand.
I think a couple of years ago, it was anything small and crafty was gone for, but now we're seeing more of that loyalty towards consistency of product and consumers latching onto a new range of bigger breweries that still have that crafty kind of image around them.
There are a lot of beer drinkers who want to try new things. But the problem is they want to try new things and then they're going straight back to what they had before.
It would be nice to see craft beers start doing something to provide at least one option at their breweries for your friends that want to come along, but they're not going to feel included. They don't want to be just the person getting the root beer.
I still think craft, they can also get into the light beers probably a little bit more. I think that would appeal to women more too, like somewhat, or anyone that just wants a lighter beer.
Low calorie, healthier version, sessionable things, lower ABV. That's where I think people are really going to land is, hey, I could have 5 or 6 beers, lower calories. I'm not getting as drunk. I can drink all day. I can hang out and catch a smaller buzz than being overly intoxicated.
Radlers are exploding. That's something that's great. I love that. Lower ABV beer. Lower ABV, sort of fruity flavored beer. The low alcohol movement, I think, is great. Loads of people are like, yeah, I want to be able to drink beer all night and have a nice time and not get hammered. That's a big thing that's coming up, which is great. So Radlers are excellent for that.
I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing more low or non-alcoholic beers, but suggesting that they're giving a buzz in another sort of way. I think particularly in sort of main cities where maybe people want the evening socialization but don't want to be hungover the next day every day.